natural. The surface of the mind is active, like the surface of the ocean is active. But our hypothesis is, remember, this is just a hypothesis that anyone can learn that just allows us to access what is already ours. As Dr. Grosswald said, when we access that, when the active, agitated thinking mind just settles down, you can have the same thoughts in meditation that you can have out of meditation, but just not so aggravated and agitated. It's a process of the whole system settling down, not stopping thoughts. That's like trying to stop a wave. Forget it. The whole system settling down. And when that happens, a complete constellation of changes takes place in the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, the digestive system, the nervous system.
2004, is a founding member of Operation Warrior Wellness, a division within the David Lynch Foundation, a very dear friend of mine, and Operation Warrior Wellness, and he is currently on vacation. Please welcome David George.
All right, so it's kind of hard to not just repeat everything I just said, but I remember the car bombing. That is what broke me. We had been in the country. I met up with them in Baghdad, and I traveled to the north. And you know, within the skirmish, everybody knew where did I be, whatever. It doesn't matter. But when I saw my 50, it was like, I looked at the news, it was like 61, I think. 61 of us injured, and I got some debris in my back. That broke me. Something like just stopped working. And whatever, I dealt with it like everyone else did, and I just drank and went on my business. Did drugs and functioned as a soldier until I got out. And like, I forget, Ron said, like after I got, or somebody said, after I got out, everything was good for 2 years. Everything was the way it was supposed to be. I got the girl who said no to me before I joined. I got my sports car, I got my motorcycle, everything was perfect. And then 2 years later, it just snapped and broke. And then I spent 5 years self-medicated, doing what I knew worked, at least what used to work. So as a civilian, it was a lot harder to deal with being a civilian, not having people that'll die for you by your side. All the meanwhile, you're killing yourself slowly with these bad habits. But when I heard about TM and this research study that I participated in, I was like, why not? Let me just try this, because everything I've been doing doesn't work. And so, like I said, I did TM, and for the first time, it's like the car bomb broke me, and the first time I transcended, I was like, the same switch, switched back. Like this kind of fixed me, even though it was temporary. And so, like I said, at that point, it was like a year and 2 months. That was 5 months ago. And when I watched that video, I was feeling really happy. And now, when I look at it now, it's like, you know, I'm not really smiling as much as I thought I was. But now when I talk, and now I can feel my face. Like, I'm smiling, I'm pretty sure, right? It's working. So, TM works, man. And if you have any reason at all, just if you want to be better, whatever. I had ADHD too. I guess that's why I'm going all over the place. But still, if you have any reason to try to do something better for yourself, you know, you go ahead and do it. That's why you exercise. And this is exercise for your soul. And it helps and it works, I know. My mom even said so. She said so. She said so, it's gotta be true. So, thanks for your time.
Veterans learn to meditate, and gosh, I'd like to give this to my fellow vets and just the general public. And she is a graduate of Columbia University. Like the others, she's a very dear friend of mine, and I respect and admire her. So please welcome Sakura.
Hi everybody. So as Bobby mentioned, I spent 6 years in the United States Army. And in that time, I witnessed many of my comrades suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Some even took their lives. In one instance, while I was deployed to Iraq, another soldier took his M16, placed in his mouth, and shot himself. He shot himself in a trailer which was adjacent to mine. And when we came back from our 15-month deployment, many soldiers in my unit, I would say about 50%, showed symptoms of PTSD. They were engaged in heavy use of alcohol and drugs, and engaged in domestic violence as well. Every Friday, as is traditional, our commander would give us a safety brief that all soldiers know all too well. I see a couple of them out, so you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, And it became a joke to mimic our captain and say, all right, so this weekend, don't beat your wife, don't beat your dog, don't beat your buddy when you go to the bar, don't drink and drive, and don't use any drugs over the weekend. If you do, just make sure you're clean by Monday morning. We were challenged by our leadership that if we could go for several months without any of these incidents, then we would be rewarded with an extra day off from work. But we rarely made it past 30 days without incidents of violence or substance abuse. At the time, I thought this was normal. I was conditioned to believe that PTSD was not real, and these incidents were okay. And I thought that because they occurred so frequently, it wasn't a big deal. And when I became a civilian, that's when I realized these are not healthy signs of behavior. And I now recognize that PTSD is real. And it was not until that I began working with the David Lynch Foundation and finally really heard the trails of our brave soldiers and the mental anguish they experienced that brought about these incidents, that it dawned on me that PTSD is crippling our military and our military families. I can't really blame our soldiers for what they engaged in, because we were under so much intense bombings while we were deployed. People saw so much suffrage. When they came back, they had no other choice but to use these techniques to cope with themselves. And every time that we go back for another deployment, our soldiers are even less prepared for what they're to deal with, because mentally and physically, they're dying from the inside, quite literally. As a TM teacher, I work in New York City now, and I work with an extremely stressed population. And at the end of each course that I teach, I'm amazed by the progress that the students make. Anxieties begin to lessen, clarity is found, sleep improves, and social skills blossom. And within a few months, most students are taken off of their medication by their doctors, because medications have so many negative side effects. In TM, the only side effect is more happiness and clarity and all these wonderful qualities that you want in life. Our military has spent so much time serving our country, and when we needed help, and now it's our turn to serve you.
The technique in 1971. He has an MA in education and an MS in psychology, and in 1980 he wrote his master's thesis, quote, "The TM technique is a proposed treatment for Vietnam veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder." He is retired and is now teaching TM full-time here in Bethesda and at Fort Gordon, Augusta, Georgia, to soldiers with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress. Please welcome him.
Thank you, Bob. Good morning, everybody. Dan kind of summed it all up. What I realized after Vietnam is that there was no purpose, there was no goals. I tried to look deeply into the future and saw nothing. And what I realized was the only thing keeping me going was memory. And then you realize that what most veterans realize is that Memorial Day is not one day a year, it's every day. My brother encouraged me to start TM. He's my brother. All right. I wasn't expecting anything of anything. My first meditation changed everything. Before long, I realized, wow, I woke up. I was a walking dead man. And I started getting my life back, and here I am, an old guy. And I got my life back. And I encourage each and every one of you veterans and veteran families and buddies, seriously consider the TM technique. You got nothing to lose. You deserve to get your life back.
So they will let you know exactly what you need to do in order to learn.
A young man, a 40-year-old from New Zealand, a young man who served 6 years in the Air Force assigned to the Army. He's a battlefield meteorologist. He separated last year from service. He's a member of and a leader, founder of the DC Association of Vets practicing the TM technique. And he, along with Mario Arsavi, right there, Mario, these two gentlemen, have been instrumental for putting on this event. So we want to thank, first of all, Mario. His wife, Linda, just left. One of the leaders.
Well, how many of you are interested in learning Transcendental Meditation and enjoy the benefits of it?
And this man right here, Adam Pressman, is responsible for those great videos you saw.